Bhagwan Shri Yogi Ramsuratkumar ki jai. Sarvam Yogi Ramsuratkumar Arpanamastu. With deep gratitude, we shall offer our salutations to Bhagwan for the special grace to be able to sing His name for one more hour, all of us together. It's no small grace. So let us celebrate this by being grateful to Him for the special opportunity to sing His name once again. Today also, before we submit our prayers at the lotus feet of Bhagwan, we shall see a certain experience of a devotee, a drop from the ocean of His grace, a drop from the ocean of His leelas. Once again today, we shall see how a certain crisis develops all of a sudden, and with the support of the name, how Bhagwan comes to our rescue by arranging things, making things more comfortable for us, and finally, how He saves us. Sivasubramaniam was working as a divisional manager in the Transport Corporation in Tiruvannamalai. He was an honest worker. He worked sincerely to the appreciation of all elders. With the result, there was more and more work, the burden of work upon him. And sometimes he would have to work till 9:30 in the night. In 2011, he was going through some stressful period because of the burden of the work. 4 years before that, that was in 2007, he had already undergone angioplasty. There was a block in his heart and they put a stent. But because he was chanting Bhagwan's Naam all the time, seeking His grace for his health, there was no problem at all. But then in 2011, the work was too much And he had to come late almost every day, as late as 9:30. So he began to feel the strain. And one day, when he returned home at 9:30, he had to hurry to Madurai because of a wedding of a relative. So it was about 10 o'clock. He went to the bus stand, took a bus. And this bus is called Bypass Rider, which means it would not stop anywhere. It would only go on the bypass road. It will bypass the cities and the villages on the way. It won't stop anywhere. So when he boarded the bus, it was about 10 o'clock. It was about 10:30 when he boarded the bus. Even as he boarded the bus, there was a little pain on the left side. But then he did not take it seriously. He thought, okay, it would be all right by the time I reach Madurai. And even if there is pain, his brother, the doctor brother in Madurai, I could consult him, and then maybe I would go to Kovai for further treatment. So this is how he thought about it. He did not take it seriously at all. But then, 10:30 he boarded the bus. 10:45, 15 minutes, he developed acute pain. So much so he was unable to bear it. And what was more, his hand was losing its action. Slowly, slowly he felt more and more difficult even to move his hand. Somehow he managed to put his hand into his pocket, took out a tablet and put it under his tongue, and then immediately reached out for his wife over the phone. Only his second daughter took the phone, and he said, "Please call your mother. I've got this chest pain now. I have to talk to her immediately." The wife came on the phone. She was also alarmed. And she said, "It's okay, whatever it is, you please start chanting his name. Yogi Ramsuratkumar Nama, I will also chant here. Bhagwan will surely help us." And then she started desperately. She was really afraid and she expressed it. But then she said, "Okay, Bhagwan is there. He will save us." And then, it was becoming increasingly difficult to breathe. As he was talking over the phone, he was really mumbling. He was not able to talk loudly or anything. He was almost whispering. But then, he was also chanting the name. Though he was not able to chant the name loudly, it was going on inside because he was desperate. Suddenly, there was a person on the right side. When he tried to seek help on the left side, the one who was seated next to him was fast asleep. So he was managing the whole thing by himself, but when he whispered, when he mumbled something to his wife over the phone, nobody could have heard it. But then, all of a sudden, there was somebody on the right side sitting in the front seat. He walked over to him. He said, "Don't talk any further." Because Sivasubramaniam wanted to tell his wife, look, even if something should happen to me, please take care of the children. But this doctor, he said, I'm a doctor, don't speak anything further. He took the phone. I heard whatever you said over the phone, so don't talk, don't strain yourself anymore. And then he spoke to his wife saying that the doctor, he would rush him to the nearest hospital and give him the first aid treatment. And after that, he would get back to her with the details. And then immediately he went to the conductor and the driver, said, look, there's a very serious crisis here. We have to go, take the bus to the nearest hospital immediately. Of course, the conductor came and saw Sivasubramaniam. Immediately he recognized him because Sivasubramaniam was working in the transport office. So they took the bus straight away to, the place is called Kaitar or something. So they went there, they rushed to the hospital there, and Sivasubramaniam was immediately examined by the doctor on duty. And then this doctor in the bus, he instructed the other doctor to give immediate injection. And then he spoke to the wife of Sivasubramaniam. He said, Amma, I have done whatever I could. Now I will arrange for an ambulance in the hospital, from the hospital. He would come straight away to Tirunelveli. You be ready with the doctor who is attending on him. And please admit him in the hospital and start the treatment. Please tell the doctor to take over. The wife said desperately, sir, please be with my husband. Please come up till Tirunelveli. But then the doctor said, no, I have work. I cannot come. But he would be all right. He would come there. And then after that, your doctor will take care of him. After this, he disappeared. Nobody knew where he went. Sivasubramaniam, before he boarded the ambulance, he looked around. But this doctor was not to be seen. The bus conductor, driver, everybody was there with him, but this man had disappeared. In fact, as soon as he talked to his wife, Sivasubramaniam talked to his wife, when the doctor in the bus approached him, Sivasubramaniam knew in the heart of hearts that Bhagwan was going to save him. Here is a man rushing to help, and he says he's a doctor. Oh, this is definitely Bhagwan at work. He was very happy, even in those circumstances. And then this doctor disappeared. After the work was over, Sivasubramaniam was taken in the ambulance, rushed to Tirunelveli. When he arrived, Dr. Srinivasan, who did the operation 4 years before, the angioplast on him, was there. And what was more, the other higher officials of the Transport Corporation were also there, along with his wife. Everybody was in tension. But then soon Sivasubramaniam was admitted, and then all that was needful medically was being done to him. And they found out, Dr. Srinivasan told him, it was 90% block again, and he had to go through another angioplast. Anyway, by the time Sivasubramaniam knew that Bhagwan had helped him, blessed him, and he would soon be all right. When he got discharged from the hospital and arrived at home, he went and sat there inside, and suddenly, out of nowhere, a butterfly came straight to him and sat on his chest, to the delight and surprise of everybody around. Once again, assuring them that Bhagwan was with them in the crisis. So you see how all this happened. In fact, when he arrived in the ambulance at Tirunelveli Hospital, there were quite a few people, including Dr. Srinivasan, his wife. His wife was chanting Nama desperately, and she was still very doubtful and afraid that anything could happen to her husband. The first thing that she did was to see if there was any movement in the body. And when there was some movement, she felt relieved. Such was the condition, such was the agony the family went through. Here, when I narrate the story to you, I'm jumping from one sentence to the other. But remember, each sentence is an experience the devotee had lived through, the devotee's family had lived through. All those people concerned had gone through. It was night about 11:15, and he was finding it difficult to breathe. The man sitting next to him was fast asleep. He somehow reached his pocket and threw a tablet into his mouth to keep under the tongue. And he was mumbling something over the phone. Even while trying to chant Yogi Ramsuratkumar Nama inside, how could what he mumbled reach the man who was seated in the front on the right side? How is that? He was a doctor, he happened to be a doctor, and he knew what exactly had to be done. How is that the conductor and the driver immediately obliged? The passengers cooperated. And what was more, when they reached the hospital, there was a doctor on duty who attended immediately, gave the injection. And what was more, when the doctor of the bus requested, the hospital immediately arranged for an ambulance. Everything happened one after the other. Even though we go through the suffering, inevitable. Bhagwan is there with us, ready with all the arrangements, all the comforts possible in the circumstances, ready with the help, guidance and protection. This is Yogi Ramsuratkumar Nama. His wife was chanting. They have been chanting regularly for so many years. It is Nama of Yogi Ramsuratkumar that came to his help, arranged things immediately, one after the other, and rushed him back to the hospital in Tirunelveli. And above all, as a perfect ending, after he arrived at home, after he got discharged from the hospital, when he arrived at home, imagine the butterfly coming from where at that time nobody knew, came straight to Sivasubramaniam and sat on his chest pointedly. So sufferings come to us inevitably because of some past karma. This diseases come to us and we go through difficulties. But if you keep chanting the name, if you invoke the grace of God by chanting the name, you see how we are being rescued, how we are being helped at every stage. We owe it all to his powerful Nama, Yogi Ramsuratkumar. The minute you call out from inside, he was not able to chant loudly. He was finding it very difficult to breathe, and the difficulty to breathe was increasing. It was getting more and more difficult to breathe. But even then, he was chanting, he was trying to chant Yogi Ramsuratkumar Nama inside. It's just a call. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, you call from the heart, you connect with him immediately. It is faster than your cell phone contact. So why shouldn't we do it? Every time you mention the name, every time you chant the name Yogi Ramsuratkumar, you are in contact with him. And the divine name does all that is needful for the moment. In fact, Bhagwan says, if you keep on chanting and chanting, there is no need even to pray separately. The Nama will take over. Nama will run your life. Nama will do the needful, all that is needful. Now this Bhagwan, who connects with us so easily at the mere call of his name, is here, right in front of us, with a smile on his lips and a hand raised in benediction. There's a constant flow of grace from his hand, ready to help, guide, and protect us if we should call out. Let us submit our prayers, because the whole world is now in a similar crisis. There's the spread of the disease, the spread of fear in the hearts of people, and all the superpowers, despite the strength of their army, the strength of their economy, you see what is happening. They are stunned. They do not know what the next step is, how to come out of this crisis, unprecedented suffering. So let's appeal to the boundless grace of Bhagwan, his compassion. Bhagwan, beloved Bhagwan, kindly bestow your grace upon the entire humanity to be free from the clutches of this terrible virus. And please bring back normalcy in every aspect of life, everywhere. A normalcy based upon human values of mutual goodwill, mutual help, brotherhood. Please enter all those medicines, vaccines announced by different groups of medical researchers, because unless you enter the medicine, how can they work? You had often repeatedly said that it is neither the doctor nor the medicine that cure the disease. It is my Father in the medicine. Bhagwan, we seek your immediate divine intervention so that this virus will be killed once for all. Thou art the Savior. Please save us from the downfall of economy and support all those measures towards its improvement. And all those soldiers at the border in defense of the country, please bless for peace to prevail there.